Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swagglehawk. May the 4th be with you. Everybody knows that green lightsabers are the best color for lightsabers. If you're somebody out there who, when you're playing your Star Wars video game, chooses blue lightsaber for your creative character, you're doing it wrong. We all know green is the best color because Barnabas Finn uses a green lightsaber. Welcome back to another video with Swagglehawk. In this video, even though it is May the 4th and it's Star Wars time, we got to talk about the market for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Or actually, the lack thereof of a market for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. The movie comes out tomorrow, this weekend. And frankly, it doesn't seem like anybody cares. Feels like the comic book market is completely spent on MCU speculation. And frankly, I don't think that that's really surprising to anybody. I think that that goes to show, a lot of the goodwill that has gone with Marvel and also a lot of the, the burnout that has happened with the speculation boom of the last couple years. Anyone who has wanted to spec on anything related to the Guardians of the Galaxy has already done so. So there's just no reason to be buying the books at this particular time. Although, ironically, now might be one of the best times to actually do it. So in this video, I'm going to go through it. I'm going to talk a little bit about the market, check in on what is going on out there in the comic collecting sphere, and then also talk a little bit about some of the other good things that people in the comic collecting market actually do care about. A lot of people are doing good work, and a lot of money is being spent on some mega interesting projects like MEGALITH. But before I get into it, if you guys could drop me a like, comment, subscribe if you're enjoying the content, helps support the channel, doing those things, I would appreciate it. But let's get into this video here today. Of course, avert your eyes. I meant to go to this one first. Variety, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 to end Super Mario Brothers' 4-week box office reign with a $120 million debut. Now, $120 million for sure. Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be the biggest movie this week, but I don't think that 120 is a number that is going to make this a, billion-dollar movie. I don't think this is going to get anywhere close to that. We can see that 120 million for this opening is certainly higher than Guardians of the Galaxy 1, although that was, earlier in phase 2 when, inflation meant a lot less in terms of like, okay, 94 million is actually pretty darn good for an MCU movie at that time. But then if you compare it to 2017, 146 million, it seems like we're going to get less of a return this time around than the sequel movie. And it feels like that is generally a trend with a lot of the Marvel movies. I mean, not able to exceed their previous counterpart, like Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, didn't make as much as Black Panther. Now, that's not to say that I don't think that these movies are going to be successful or that these movies, aren't going to be reviewed well. I mean, frankly, from the people that I know who have seen Guardians of the Galaxy 3, they're telling me already that it is one of the best movies to come out over the last couple phases. So I'm really, really excited about it. But I bring that up not to really harp on, box office numbers, because that's not what we're here to talk about, but to have that be sort of an example that kind of trickles over to the excitement or lack thereof that we're seeing, in the comic book collecting market. Now, this is the Key Collector Trending 20, and I kind of want to just quickly scroll through for you guys just to show you that of the 20 books, only 3 relate to Guardians of the Galaxy, which I guess on a, normal week, that would be maybe kind of normal. I mean, related to a movie, but usually you would see kind of a lot more keys move in association with whatever project is actually going on. And the 3 ones that are really moving the most right here are Captain Marvel 17, which of course, we've talked about many times here on the channel. There's been many times throughout the last couple of years where this book has been heavily speculated. Of course, this is the first full appearance of Phi Lavelle. A lot of people thinking that Phi Lavelle was going to make an appearance in the Guardians 3 movie. Then we have Incredible Hulk 271, first appearance of Rocket Raccoon, or I guess second appearance of Rocket Raccoon, depending on, if you count the magazine or how you want to slice it. And then the third book that we have to talk about is Thor 165, first full appearance of him. In my opinion, the go-to book for Adam Warlock, who of course we know is going to be in this movie. And while I do think it is somewhat impressive to see a book like this pop up on the trending 20 list, a Silver Age book, fairly expensive depending on your budget, and being that it's for a character that we knew has been coming for quite a long time. So it's like, how many people out there have not yet made up their mind if they want to get Thor 165. I mean, I feel like if you're a collector who is still on the fence with this book, I mean, I feel like we have to capture you and put you in a lab and study you, because you are an anomaly as far as, what your behavior is in the comic book collecting market. But as we kind of dig into this, I did want to point out a few little interesting tidbits where we see that, it's only 100% increase in copies sold this week versus the last week. In a 100% increase, that can mean a lot of different things. I mean, 100% increase could mean that last week we only saw 1 copy sell, and then this week we see 2 copies sell. I mean, is that really that much more? I mean, I guess it's a little bit more, and it makes sense that, a movie would create a little bit of demand, out of sight, out of mind, or I guess in this case, insight in mind. So I guess it is an increase, but 100% doesn't really seem like too much. I mean, similarly, Incredible Hulk 271, 133% increase. So again, it could just be 1 extra copy that moved this week. And then with the Captain Marvel one, a little bit cheaper of a book, 186% increase. So a little bit easier to maybe kind of make an impulse buy on something like this. And certainly we can see that this is a book that, is selling a little bit higher, where if we kind of rewind the clock to some of the earlier sales, if I find a 9.8 grade over here, we can see a 9.8 grade went at auction like over a month ago at 162. And then now in this week, we're seeing some slash prices of 289. So maybe this book is trending up somewhat. A slash price of 275 right here, a bid of 240. So an increase of $100, at least at the 9.8 grade for this one. And, I think that is always kind of an indication. It's funny when you see books like this sell for that amount of money, and then nobody, really cares about some of the other books like Incredible Hulk 271, because of the fact that, new is new and old is old. If a new character is showing up, like Phyla-Vell, presumably, if that's what people are thinking is going to happen, then people are excited about, the potential of what Phyla-Vell would be versus the kind of gift horse in the mouth that is Rocket Raccoon. But again, I know people have different interests and stuff, so we can't really compare it. But I bring that up once again to just show you some of the other books on the trending list. This one, Fantastic Four 211, first appearance of Terrax the Tamer. Of course, Terrax, is a character that people have been kind of talking about as being a potential villain for the Fantastic Four movie. And just to show you guys, I mean, this book this week as a trending book is up 471% increase in copies sold. So here you have a rumor, which is the 471% increase, versus you actually have the books related to, say, the movie that in theory is like, hey, this is actually the moment. And that's only a 133% increase, or whatever the case is. So it just goes to show you, again, 471, we don't really know what that means. I mean, frankly, it could mean that 0 copies sold last week and then 4 copies sold this week. But just to kind of show you guys, I mean, what kind of numbers we're working with here. I feel like 471, 450 for Transformers, 400 for Silver Surfer 44, Infinity Gauntlet, these types of increases, I think, are more an indication of, the fervor that is in the market than, say, the Guardians books that are actually coming out right now and only have like 100, 133, 186 increase in the demand for those books because of the fact that we're getting the movie now. So again, I kind of talk about this because I think it's really interesting that we're in this place where the movie is coming out and nobody seems to care. And I think that has a lot to do with, again, the fatigue. I think that has a lot to do with anyone who has ever wanted these books has already made those purchases. Everyone who has decided to, spec on these characters has already spec'd on them. And then frankly, anyone who has wanted to sort of cash in on the hype for these characters is trying to do so now. And everyone's putting those books out into the market. And that's really kind of offsetting the supply demand equation here. So we have more supply coming into the market because people are trying to capitalize on these movies. And there's just frankly not enough demand. And I think that that is really interesting for a lot of these films. Now, the question is, will we see a time when the market turns? Will there be a time when we see more demand in the market? Well, yeah, I think that there is going to be that, because I still think that there is a lot of good comic book related comics, products, things out there in the market that people are obviously spending money on. And I wanted to take a little moment to talk about a project that I think is really, really interesting that I think you guys should know about. And that's the MEGALITH project by Bad Idea. Now, if you guys don't know, this is a Kickstarter that actually just launched today. And you can see, just from the ticker, 502 backers already, $128,000. $128,000 for this, MEGALITH book. It looks awesome. I mean, shout out to Dinesh. I mean, you guys probably know about Bad Idea. They've done a lot of, wild and crazy things, but they've also made a lot of cool books. And I think that this project is really interesting because of the fact that it's written by Matt Kent. It's drawn by Luis LaRosa, two fantastic creators. And they spent 5 years working on this book, trying to make it the best thing it can be. And it looks incredible. It's about this, alien megalith creature that crash lands on Earth. And, the people have to sort of, band together and kind of deal with it. So very, very bombastic, large, very comic booky story. And it's already blowing up the charts, in a market where it feels like nobody's spending money on comic books. But here we are, having a product that is meeting the demand of a lot of, comic book collectors out there in the market. And I think that that's important, because I think comic books are really cool and we should support the companies that are putting in great work like that. So here's my copy of Megalith that was sent to me. I thought it was pretty cool to, talk about this and get you guys to sort of check it out. I mean, I think that that's really important. We should be supporting, the comic book creators and the comic book, companies that we feel like are doing good stuff for the comic book world, and if we don't feel like our money should be going to whatever, spec books for MCU related projects, then we should be putting our money to the creators creating things that we actually really, really appreciate. Now, last little thing, speaking of, I just kind of want to show you guys because I'm going to give one of these things away. I'm going to do a little bit of a giveaway that I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, but I'll put it in the thumbnail so that you guys know what we're talking about here. But shout out to Jeremy Noko's Comics. He has this very, very cool company called the Comic Shell, which is actually this really nifty bag that holds your graded comic books. Now, I myself am going to Shortbox Live this weekend. If you guys are happening to be in the Bay Area, Shortbox Live, of course, Shortbox is the app that sells graded comic books, and they're doing their first con. And frankly, I'm going to be there. Can I show you guys really quick? Look, I'm going to be there. A little bit of a plug. If you guys are still hanging out, Shortbox Live, I'm going to be there this Sunday. And look at me. I got a little flyer here, apparently. Right? And scroll down. I mean, obviously, I'm at the bottom. I'm not top billing here. But at 2 p.m., apparently, I'm speaking at Shortbox. I'm going to be giving a little bit of a speech. Probably should work on my speech. It's a couple days away. What do you guys think? Anyways, you might find yourself at a comic show like that, needing to carry around your graded comic books. You got this comic shell right here. I mean, maybe you have something extremely valuable, like a Darkhawk 1 and a CGC 9.8. And it's not like you would be doing any trades with it. You would never trade this book because you could never get it back. But if you wanted to bring it to the comic show to show it off to all your comic book buddies, you could have a case like this, which, kind of fits some comic books. And, it's really nice. It's really cool. The material's nice. And so, kind of a product that I feel like has a role in the comic book market. And you guys should check it out. So comicbookshell.com. Definitely check it out. All right. Last little thing before I kind of wrap it up. I know that this has been a little bit of a hodgepodge of video topics here, but there's a lot to talk about. Last little thing, of course, support your creators. Come check me out at Shortbox Live. Go check out Megalith and Comic Shell. And a little bit of an update from my Kickstarter, because I'm also a creator. Comic has been sent off to the printers. So ladies and gentlemen, now we just wait. We wait for this comic to come back from the printers. Really appreciate all who supported. I got some goodies, man. We got the movie poster all colored right here, Call to Horror. I'm going to be printing this up. This is definitely going behind me. Beware the Sinister Swaggle Had to put myself in my own comic, just as a little bit of a meme. This is a movie that is made within the world of my comic book, kind of old classic, like Universal Monster style of movie going on. And that's kind of the poster. I just kind of want to show that off to you guys really, really quick. Anyways, that's all I got for this video. That was me just sort of talking about, the market, how it feels like nobody cares. Nobody cares. Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Dodson. We got Dodson here. Nobody cares. Nobody's buying these books. But there's a lot of stuff. A lot of good stuff in the comic book market. A lot of good products. A lot of good comic books. Megalith. Things like that. And now's a great time. Anyways, that's all I got for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Like, comment, subscribe. See you on the next one.